Meanwhile, another African country is in the headlines, and that is Angola, the 7th largest in the continent by size, the 8th largest in terms of GDP. Angola is one of the better off African nations. And a major reason for this is oil. Angola is the 2nd largest oil producer in sub-Saharan Africa, but lately its oil output has been stifled by the global oil cartel, OPEC. OPEC has been slashing oil production for months. This is to control oil prices globally. The most recent cut was announced on the 30th of November. Now, Angola has been complaining about these production cuts for a while, and it has finally reached a breaking point. Yesterday, Angola officially left OPEC, breaking with the cartel after about 16 years. But were the production quotas the only reason for this split? Or was there some geopolitics involved too? Our next report has the answers.
Angola has left OPEC. That's the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. It's the group of nations that controls a majority of the world's oil exports. OPEC is now down to 12 members. Angola parted ways yesterday, and the split wasn't amicable. This is Diamantino Pedro Azevedo, Angola's Minister of Mineral Resources, Petroleum and Gas. He announced the split from OPEC yesterday, and he didn't mince his words. He said, "We feel that at this moment, Angola gains nothing by remaining in the organization, and in defense of its interests, it decided to leave." He added, "When we see that we are in organizations and our contributions, our ideas do not produce any effect, the best thing is to withdraw." Harsh words. But it won't surprise anyone following the global oil trade. Oil prices have been volatile over the last few months. They reached a peak of about $140 per barrel last March, in the immediate aftermath of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But they've been stabilizing ever since. So, to prop up prices, OPEC Plus has been slashing production. OPEC Plus basically is the global oil cartel and friends. They all export oil. They tweak oil prices, mostly by adjusting their oil production. Now, this works well for the rich OPEC members. They can afford to lower production. But the strategy doesn't work out too well for the smaller members, like Nigeria and now former member Angola. The two nations are the biggest oil producers in sub-Saharan Africa. Angola produces about 1.1 million barrels of oil per day. Nigeria about 1.3 million. It's not much compared to Saudi Arabia's almost 9 million barrels per day, or Iraq's 4.2 million. This is why the African nations haven't been too keen on cutting production. They need to sell their oil for valuable foreign exchange. But despite this, OPEC Plus announced a production cut in November. It was a voluntary cut. Only 8 countries agreed to it. But it was seen as setting the tone for next year. OPEC is expected to slash production throughout 2024, and the next cuts may not be voluntary. So Angola decided it had seen enough. It has walked out of OPEC. But there could be another reason for Angola's exit. On the day OPEC announced the last oil cut, Angola's president was in a meeting with US President Joe Biden.
Simply put, the partnership between Angola and America is more important and more impactful than ever. And we're all in with you in Angola.
Biden announced a $1 billion investment in an African rail corridor, linking copper-rich regions in Zambia and the Democratic Republic of Congo to the Lobito port in Angola. The project may help transform trade in Angola, and it's a great way to get the country on Washington's side as well. The US has been trying to make inroads into Africa, wanting to wean the continent away from its rivals Russia and China. OPEC has also been acting against US interests for a while. Washington has opposed OPEC's production cuts, so Angola leaving OPEC is definitely a victory for the US. Did the meeting with Biden have anything to do with Angola's decision? There's no proof of that yet, but it seems too convenient for it to be a coincidence.